So we discussed the proposal put across the table. And we wanted to make a couple of points. We're really not ready to counter on that proposal at this point. We feel we need to have some conversation with our members. But here's what we do know. We know that right now in Florida and in Central Florida, our average teacher pay continues to fall behind the averages. And in fact, since 2010, 11 school year to last school year, our average teacher pay went from $1,498, so $1,500 behind the state average, to $2,500 behind the state average, which means we lost $1,000 on the state average in the last 4 years. Now, looking at averages isn't only the fair way to look at it. So we also are looking at before I even do that, let me also say, for Central Florida, we also fell, and we're now about $1,300 behind the Central Florida region in the 7 districts, just so you know, that I use are Brevard, Flagler, Lake, Orange, Osceola, Seminole, and Volusia. Our beginning teacher pay last year was $1,700 behind the average for that 7-county area. Our maximum pay on the bachelor's schedule, pretty much focusing on that nowadays, was $1,400. So basically in our county, you come in behind, you stay behind. And so it's not that, we're investing, which I know has been said, that that the union only wants to invest in people who are here, or not people who are new and people who've been here for a while. But the reality of it is, pay sucks in Volusia County no matter where you are. And so that's a concern. When you compare the superintendent's pay and principal's pay at the high school, middle school, and elementary level, compared to the state, the superintendent does better than the state. She does worse in the Central Florida, same 7 regions. Our high school principals do almost $3,200 better than at the state level. They're behind the Central Florida region. Our middle school principals do a whopping $343 better than the state compared to the Central Florida region. Our elementary principals are the only principals that are behind the state average. And they're behind the state average by about $1,300, $1,400. But even as you compare those in percentages, our percentage of being behind our counterparts is much more significant than the percentage of our administrators. And I'm not saying that they're overpaid. I clearly don't believe anyone in our district is overpaid. I just think that we continue to get a shorter end of the stick and are falling further and further behind. We have Seminole County is at the table right now. Orange County just settled for a 2-year package that was front-loaded essentially and is 6.3% increase. They're also improving their base pay, which is going to make it more competitive. I sat in a school board workshop on Tuesday for a long time and heard that the top priorities for this district and this school board was to make sure that we took care of the people who were here and that we did a better job retaining and recruiting these people and that we had to be more competitive. A one-time essential bonus payment does not make us more competitive. It's going to put us further behind every one of our surrounding counties because, as I pointed out, we're already behind, and it keeps us behind. So then the question becomes the financial status of the district and what might happen. And we always deal with what might happen. So we deal with it every year. So based on the calculations that I've been able to factor, prior to privatizing custodial services, we spent about 83% of the general fund budget on salaries and benefits. And now, last year, we spent 79%. If you add back in the cost of those custodial services, my best calculation to figure it out becomes about 82%. So we still end up about 1% behind where we were. prior to the privatization of custodial services. And 1% in salary and benefits, 1% of the budget, is about $4.6 million. I take somewhere in that range, 4.6 million. And I also will continue to point out that we're hiring a huge number of teachers, and that the overwhelming number of those new teachers are coming in on step 0 or step 1, which means they're being paid the $36,000 amount, and therefore those folks are actually saving the district money. And so I think there's continuing to be this savings that's coming from employees, and so that is concerning as well. Everyone at this table felt that this proposal was a slap in the face, and quite honestly disrespectful to the hard work that people do every day in this district. These have been difficult years, not just financially, but certainly the stress level, and I know we've had some changes, and we're hoping that's going to move us in the right direction, but this certainly doesn't set us in the right mind at this point. So we are not just disappointed, we're disheartened by this proposal. And our plan right now, we do want to set some other dates for bargaining. We think we need to keep the process moving. We feel we've waited. We've waited an awful long time to do this. We waited when the district asked for the half-penny sales tax. We waited when we had the November of elections. We've had to wait again as the new board gets situated. And this is what we get. We believe we've made a lot of sacrifices as a profession to try to help the district in many ways, financially speaking. We feel that our teachers are having to do an awful lot that they shouldn't have to do. We certainly have a broken system when it comes to the custodial services contract, where employees, not just teachers, but we know office specialists and others, are having to clean classrooms and offices and take out trash because it's not being done by a company that's getting millions of dollars from taxpayers. Those are all real concerns, and we feel like we're being burdened with the decisions that people above us have made, and paying those consequences. So we are going to talk to our members, we're going to survey our members, and we're going to try to figure out where we go, but we absolutely want to keep the process moving. But we're clearly not happy. Anything else anyone wants to add? Okay. You're not prepared on anything else right at this point, so we're gonna
right.
We're gonna
and if you have some dates, then okay.
Yeah, let's look at that and we'll do that. All right.
Maybe we get it better than Mr. Dyer's calendar.